One meal a day or two meals a day? Which one is actually better? This is the question millions of people are asking right now. Some swear that OMAD completely transformed their health. Others say two meals a day is the only sustainable way to live. So who's right? Here's the truth most people miss. This isn't really about which method wins. It's about understanding when to use each one and why. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which approach fits your body, your goals, and your life. Before we dive in, remember this is educational content, not medical advice. If you have any health conditions, talk to your doctor before changing how you eat. Let's start with the basics. OMAD means eating all your food for the day in roughly 1 hour, then not eating for the remaining 23 hours. Two meals a day, sometimes called 2MAD, means eating twice within a 6 to 8 hour window, then fasting for 16 to 18 hours. Both approaches are forms of intermittent fasting. The main difference is how long you go without food. And that difference matters more than most people realize. Here's why. Every time you eat, your body releases a hormone called insulin. Insulin's job is to move sugar from your blood into your cells, where it gets used for energy or stored for later. When insulin is high, your body is in storage mode. Fat stays locked away. Your body won't burn it because it's busy dealing with the food you just ate. When insulin drops, which happens when you stop eating, your body finally gets the signal to start burning stored fat. The longer you go without eating, the longer insulin stays low, and the more time your body has to tap into fat reserves. This is the key insight. It's not just about how much you eat, it's about how often you eat. And here's something fascinating to consider. Our ancestors didn't eat 3 meals a day with snacks in between. For most of human history, food wasn't available on demand. People experienced natural cycles of eating and not eating. A successful hunt meant a feast. The days of searching meant fasting. Our bodies evolved in this environment. They developed sophisticated systems to thrive during periods without food. When you practice intermittent fasting, you're not doing something extreme or unnatural. You're actually returning to an eating pattern your genes already recognize. Modern life has trained us to believe we need to eat constantly. Breakfast as soon as we wake up, snacks to keep energy stable, eating before bed so we don't get hungry at night. But this constant feeding is the real departure from how humans lived for thousands of years. If you eat 3 meals plus snacks, your insulin stays elevated almost all day. Your body rarely gets a chance to burn fat. But if you eat only once or twice, insulin stays low for most of the day, giving your body hours to access stored energy. In 2022, researchers at Amsterdam University Medical Centers ran a fascinating study. They took healthy adults and had them eat the exact same number of calories. One group ate 3 meals a day. The other group ate everything in one meal. Same food, same calories. But the results were completely different. The one meal group lost more weight and burned more fat during exercise, even though they ate the same amount. This tells us something important. When you eat matters just as much as what you eat. Now let's talk about OMAD specifically. With 23 hours of fasting, your insulin levels have plenty of time to drop very low. This extended fasting window triggers something remarkable in your cells. When your body goes long enough without new food coming in, your cells start a process called autophagy. This word comes from Greek and literally means self-eating. But don't worry, it's a good thing. Here's what happens. When there's no new food to process, your cells begin cleaning house. They break down old damaged parts and recycle them into usable energy. Think of it as your body taking out the cellular trash and turning it into fuel. Research shows that autophagy becomes noticeable after about 16 to 18 hours of fasting, and it gets stronger around the 24-hour mark. With OMAD, you're hitting that deep cleaning zone every single day. In August 2024, researchers at MIT made a remarkable discovery about this process. They found that after a 24-hour fast, intestinal stem cells doubled their regenerative capacity. These are the cells responsible for renewing your gut lining every few days. The researchers discovered that fasting switches your cells from burning sugar to burning fat, and this metabolic shift signals your stem cells to become more active and regenerative. What's even more interesting is that this regeneration kicks into high gear, not during the fast itself, but when you start eating again. The fasting period prepares your cells, and the refeeding period triggers the repair. But autophagy isn't just about physical health. Many people report experiencing remarkable mental clarity during extended fasts. This isn't imagination. When your body shifts from burning glucose to burning fat, it produces molecules called ketones. These ketones can cross into your brain and provide a steady, clean source of fuel. Unlike glucose, which causes energy spikes and crashes, ketones provide consistent energy. This is why many people feel sharper, more focused, and calmer during fasting periods. Your ancient ancestors needed this mental clarity to find food when they were hungry. A foggy brain would have been a death sentence. So your body evolved to actually enhance cognitive function during fasting, not diminish it. So when should you use OMAD? It's ideal when you want faster weight loss results, when you need to reverse insulin resistance, or when you want to maximize cellular repair. OMAD is like an intensive repair mode for your body. But OMAD isn't the only tool in the box. 2 meals a day still gives you 16 to 18 hours of fasting every day. Your insulin still drops low enough to burn fat. Autophagy still gets activated, just not as intensely as with OMAD. Here's the advantage of 2MAD. With 2 meals instead of one, it's much easier to get all the nutrients your body needs. Vitamins, minerals, protein, fiber. Fitting everything into a single meal can be challenging, especially if you have a smaller appetite or a sensitive digestive system. 2 meals a day is also easier to maintain long term. You can have lunch with coworkers. You can enjoy dinner with family. It fits into normal social life without constant explanations. So when should you use 2M? It works best when you've already reached your weight goal and want to maintain it when your digestive system struggles with large meals, or when you simply want a sustainable lifestyle you can follow for years. Here's the important shift in thinking. 2M. AD is not a weaker version of OMAD. They're different tools designed for different purposes. Now let's address something many people worry about. Digestion. A common question is whether eating one large meal will cause digestive problems. Will OMAD keep you constipated? Can your gut handle that much food at once? Here's what actually happens. When you're not eating, your intestines activate something called the migrating motor complex. This is a series of wave-like contractions that sweep through your digestive tract, pushing leftover food particles and bacteria out of your small intestine. The important thing to understand is that this cleaning process only happens when you're not eating. Every time you snack or eat a small meal, you interrupt it. So constant grazing throughout the day actually disrupts your gut's natural cleaning cycle. Fasting gives your digestive system time to do its housekeeping work. Most people who experience constipation while fasting aren't having problems because of the fasting itself. The real causes are usually not drinking enough water, not eating enough fiber during their meal, or eating too quickly. The solution is simple. Stay hydrated throughout the day. Include plenty of vegetables in your meals. And take your time eating. Your gut actually prefers having rest periods between meals. One more tip about digestion. When you break your fast, don't rush to stuff yourself. Start with something easy to digest. Give your system a few minutes to wake up before eating heavier foods. Your digestive enzymes need time to ramp up production after a fasting period. Eating slowly and mindfully will help you avoid the bloating and discomfort that sometimes happens when people eat too much, too fast, after a long fast. Let's move on to something that frustrates almost everyone who tries intermittent fasting: the plateau. You've probably experienced this. The first month, weight drops quickly. You're excited. Then suddenly everything stalls. The scale doesn't move for weeks. You start wondering if something is wrong with your metabolism. Here's what's really happening. That rapid weight loss in the beginning isn't mostly fat. A large portion is water and glycogen. Glycogen is the stored form of sugar your body keeps in your muscles and liver. Each gram of glycogen holds on to about 3 grams of water. When you start fasting, your body burns through glycogen first, and all that water goes with it. Once glycogen is depleted, your body switches to burning fat. This process is slower. It's supposed to be slower. Fat is a long-term energy reserve, not an emergency fuel tank. At the same time, your body has a built-in protection system. When you lose weight, your metabolism naturally adjusts. You burn slightly fewer calories because there's less of you to maintain. This isn't your metabolism breaking. It's your body adapting to your new weight. A plateau is actually a sign that your body is recalibrating. It's establishing a new baseline. This is normal and healthy. It doesn't mean you should give up or that fasting has stopped working. How do you push through? One effective strategy is to alternate between OMAD and 2MAD. This variation prevents your body from fully adapting to a predictable pattern. Make sure you're getting enough protein to maintain muscle mass. And most importantly, be patient. The plateau will pass. Speaking of protein, this is something that deserves extra attention, whether you're doing OMAD or 2MAD. Protein is essential for maintaining muscle mass during weight loss. When you lose weight, you want to lose fat, not muscle. Adequate protein intake signals your body to preserve lean tissue while burning fat stores. Aim for protein at every meal. This could be eggs, fish, chicken, beef, legumes, or dairy. If you're doing OMAD, you'll need to pack more protein into that single meal. If you're doing 2MAD, you can spread it across both meals. Either way, protein keeps you full longer and protects the muscle that keeps your metabolism healthy. Now here's a fear that keeps many people stuck in OMAD, even when they don't need to be. If I stop OMAD and switch to 2MAD, will I gain all the weight back? The answer is no. Not if you understand what's happening. Think of OMAD as your repair phase. It's the intensive period where you're correcting metabolic problems, losing excess weight, and resetting your insulin sensitivity. You don't need to stay in repair mode forever. 2MAD is your maintenance phase. Once you've reached your goals, 2MAD helps you sustain them while living a more flexible life. Weight regain happens when people go back to old habits: snacking all day, eating processed foods, drinking sugary beverages. These behaviors push insulin high again, and the fat storage cycle restarts. But if you maintain the same quality of food and simply add a second meal within a reasonable eating window, your insulin stays manageable. You won't undo your progress just by switching from one meal to two. OMAD is not a prison sentence. It's a tool you can pick up when needed and set down when you're ready. Another common misconception is that you need to follow a ketogenic diet to benefit from OMAD or 2MAD. This isn't true. The most important factor is keeping insulin from spiking repeatedly throughout the day. You achieve this by avoiding refined carbohydrates and added sugars. But you don't need to eliminate all carbs. You can eat brown rice. You can eat hot sweet potatoes. You can eat fruit. What matters is avoiding the foods that cause insulin to surge, like white bread, candy pastries, and sugary drinks. Keto can be a helpful addition for some people, but it's not a requirement. Don't let the belief that you need a perfect diet stop you from trying intermittent fasting. Focus on eating real whole foods and you'll see benefits regardless of your exact carb intake. Now let's address those of you who have prediabetes or are already managing blood sugar issues. Many people in this situation wonder if fasting is safe for them. The good news is that research shows intermittent fasting can actually improve insulin sensitivity over time. If you're taking metformin, here's what you should know. Metformin rarely causes low blood sugar on its own. For people doing 16 to 18-hour fasts, like with 2MAD, there's usually no need to adjust the medication. Your doctor prescribed it to work while you're eating, and it will still be active during your eating window. However, if you're considering longer fasts of 24 hours or more, you should definitely talk to your healthcare provider first. They may want to monitor your blood sugar more closely or adjust your dosage. The key for anyone with blood sugar concerns is to start slowly. Begin with a 12-hour fast and see how your body responds. Gradually extend the fasting window as you become comfortable. Listen to your body. If you feel shaky, dizzy, or unwell, break your fast and consult your doctor. This brings me to an important point about flexibility. You don't have to do the same thing every single day. Your body actually adapts well to variation. In fact, changing things up can prevent metabolic adaptation and help you avoid plateaus. Here's what flexible fasting might look like. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday you do OMAD. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday you do 2MAD. Or maybe you do OMAD on busy workdays when you don't have time for meals, and 2MAD on weekends when you're with family. The pattern doesn't matter as much as the principle. As long as you're giving your body extended periods without food and avoiding constant snacking, you'll see benefits. This flexibility is what makes intermittent fasting sustainable for life. It's not about following a rigid protocol. It's about having tools you can adjust based on your circumstances. Before we wrap up, let's be clear about who should be extra careful with fasting. If you're pregnant or breastfeeding, extended fasting is not recommended. Your body needs consistent nutrition during these times. If you have a history of eating disorders, the restriction involved in fasting could trigger unhealthy patterns. Please work with a healthcare professional. If you have type 1 diabetes or type 2 diabetes that requires insulin injections, you need medical supervision before attempting any fasting protocol. The risk of dangerous blood sugar swings is too high to manage alone. If you're underweight or recovering from illness, your body needs calories to heal. Fasting can work against your recovery. And if you're under 18, your body is still developing. Consistent nutrition supports healthy growth. For everyone else, watch for warning signs during fasting. If you experience persistent dizziness that doesn't improve with water and salt, if your heart races or pounds irregularly, if you feel confused or extremely weak, break your fast immediately and seek medical advice if symptoms continue. So where does this leave us? OMAD and 2MAD are not competitors. They're partners. OMAD is your intensive tool for repair, weight loss, and metabolic reset. 2-MAD is your sustainable tool for maintenance and long-term health. You can use OMAD when you need to make significant changes. You can shift to 2-MAD when you've reached your goals. You can alternate between them to keep your body adapting and prevent plateaus. There is no perfect eating pattern that works for everyone. The best approach is the one you can actually maintain. Your body is remarkably intelligent. It knows how to burn fat. It knows how to repair itself. It knows how to adapt. All you need to do is give it the time and space to do what it already knows how to do. Are you currently doing OMAD or 2-MAD? Or maybe you alternate between both. Share your experience in the comments. And if this video helped clarify things for you, pass it along to someone else who's been wondering which approach is right for them. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next video, where we'll dive into the science of breaking through weight loss plateaus. Until then, remember this: you're not choosing between two diets. You're learning to use two tools that your body has been waiting for all along.